And welcome. It is Wednesday. I'm your friend Scotty Ray as we begin our day. Already, 73? The temperature's been kind of up and down. It's settled at 73 right now. But boy, this will be the coolest you will see it all day as we head for a high of 101. The heat index will reach 106. So that means we've got a heat advisory in store today. So whatever you do, take those outside increments in small doses. If you've got to go outside and work, do it in doses. Make sure that you're cool, whatever you're doing. If you work outside for a living, I saw a bunch of guys as I went to town yesterday that are weed eaters, lawn professionals. That's a tough work. And you roofers, that's why they get off around lunch. Try to beat the heat, be there at daylight. Whatever the case is, y'all be careful. We don't want anybody to have heat exhaustion because it can happen within the snap of a hat. Maybe that's not the exact saying it is, but the snap of a finger. But regardless, we want you safe. Be careful out there during this heat. We'll tell you more about it. Overall, pretty much a calm night. We've got a few things to talk about that went on overnight. As always, we welcome your comments. If you know of something, inbox us, let us know so we can start looking to get more details on things that go on, that go thump in the middle of the night, no matter where you live. These areas all around us, we'd like to know about it so others can know about it. I just got a report in as we find out that a stolen vehicle was recovered in the Meridian area overnight. This is a big thing that happens in our area, and as I've said many times before, the stolen vehicles is very hard to keep up with. I've had people contact me and go, a car was stolen here. Then it ends up, and as we all know, these things happen to where it could be well repossessed. They're not always stolen, but we have a huge car theft ring that goes through here. We had one that was recovered by the Meridian Police Department last night, which is great. As we go to the map, let me show you where this was found in the overnight hours. As we go back to our map, this is going to be on 40th Avenue and 31st Street, right in this area. Here's Magnolia Cemetery. It would be due west of there and east of State Boulevard and north of Highland Park in this area. Right along in here is where it was found, near the Meridian Activity Center, right along in there. Near West End's Elementary School. Again, recovered. The car was stolen out of Tennessee. Tag may have given that away. But a car has been recovered. Hopefully somebody will get the car back that needed it. So is the word. Now, I think most people agree with me on this. You work all your life to get something. A lot of times you almost have it paid for and it's stolen. All that does is cost you more money. Insurance is insurance, but it doesn't replace a car. You know that as well as I do. But those things happen. Well, let's dig deeper into what went on last night. Good to see so many people up. Gail Gafford, Steve, Wanda, how are y'all? Julie Alphin, how are you? Hilda Johnson, good morning to you. Oh, I got Levi. Good morning from Port Huron, Michigan. That's a long way off there, Levi. Be careful up there. Clarence Westbrook is up. Also from Philadelphia, Charlotte Gray, good to see you there. Got a lot of folks there. Mike Dallas up. Miss Birdtail, how are y'all? Now, as we begin our day, let's go over a few things that is going on in the community. As we want to remind you today, coming up at 10 o'clock, this is going to be held at the Lauderdale County Courthouse, a ceremony today. I hope you can make it out for this. Rex, the canine who passed away, they're going to do a full-fledged ceremony for him. I hope you can make it out for that and celebrate the life of a police officer. They certainly are. This is going on this week. It will begin tonight. The preliminaries. Our very own Holly Brand, at the end of the week, will be turning over, as we look at this, her crown. As a new Miss Mississippi will be announced. Holly Brand, of course, being from Meridian. It's always exciting. We wish all those who are in the pageant the best of luck. And may we get a great Miss Mississippi, as we did with Holly over the last year. She did wonderful. Great job by her. Beautiful young lady there. Let's see what else we've got going on this morning. We find out from Clark County Hot Topics that an arrest has been made. As we go back to take a look at this, Chief Deputy Barry White told Clark County Hot Topics that Shannon Pickens was taken into custody in Bay Springs yesterday afternoon. He had just arrived there in handcuffs at the Clark County Jail. He was wanted by the Clark County Sheriff's Department, in custody now. As we look around of other things that have gone on, were there shots last night? There certainly was. No one was hurt. We want to remind you of that on any of this that I bring up. We had 34th Avenue, as we pull this up, Let's pull this up where you can take a look at this. We had shots reported in this area. 34th Avenue, right here is where we had reports. No one was hurt, again, as we back out and take a look at this. 13th Street, right along in here is where we had this reported there, just south of Berry and Gardner Funeral Homes. And this would put this to the north, to the southeast of Highland Park. Shots reported in this area. Again, I can't say that anything got damaged or anybody was hurt, but we do know that gunfire was heard in the area and residents heard it. We also, in or around in the neighborhood just north of 8th Street last night. Let's pull this up. We can take a look at that. In this area here around 9th Street, somewhere close to Maryhope, shots were reported also. Same goes for this case. No one was hurt. No one was damaged. No damage reported with it. It's still the same. The sound of gunfire echoed into the morning hours last night after dark. Again, no one hurt. Don't want to panic anybody, but you still need to know where things like that happen. Now, other things that go on in the middle of the night, vandalism. Well, that's just senseless, isn't it? We got another case of that last night as we go back to the map and take a look at this. This would be on Bonita Drive, right here at 2nd Avenue. Vandalism, just tearing up things just because they can. Happened overnight. No arrests have been made. Not sure they know who did it, but vandalism it is. If you've got a case of that, make sure to report it to the Meridian Police Department so they can follow up on it. I'm working, I've got to get in touch with the Meridian Police Department this morning. I had someone contact me about a missing teenager. I got to get everything 100% through the police department. I want them to be aware of it before I post it. But a teenager that could be in the Meridian area or also in Jackson. I want to make sure they're aware of it before I post it to make sure everything's hunky-dory. But we just got that in late last night. We'll get that on this morning here as soon as I get the pictures, and we'll get that so you can share it to others. Nothing worse than a child missing. We want to get that out there as quickly as we can. Well, the next thing that rocked Meridian yesterday, and I'm sure you saw the post. If you haven't, good morning to you, as we find out there was a shooting in Meridian yesterday. We go back to sammedia.network to take a look at this. One person was shot on Edgewood Drive in Meridian. Now, this would be, as we'll look at this is the scene of the police as they were there. Let's take a look at the map so you'll know where this actually happened. This is North Hill Street. As you go down there, this would be about the first right-hand turn if you were headed east and into Edgewood Drive. Right along in there is where it all happened. Now, a person was shot. From what I'm understanding, they knew who shot them, but would not file charges. They were shot in the leg. Don't know the circumstances, if it was an argument or what went on, but they did know who did it, and my understanding is they would not press charges against the person who did that. Numerous reasons, I'm sure, but that's what went on behind the scenes of that. It was not life-threatening, although anywhere I would get hit, I would consider life-threatening. You know what I mean by that. Just not good to be shot. And we see so much of that in our area, don't we? It's going to be a common thing to where people are almost numb to it. We did have a pedestrian struck yesterday. Nothing horrible, but someone bumped. And I got a note, and before we go any further about that, let me just find this, because I got this as a mention that people need to really pay attention to this area. I'm almost there. And this is about people walking in front of you. If you were to come over the 18th Avenue Bridge, where Rush Hospital is, you come over that bridge. There's been a lot of people that are walking out in front of vehicles, trying to get bumped. 18th Avenue crossing. That's between Frontage Road and the bridge. That would be anywhere from McDonald's all the way back to the big bridge there. Down through there. What is it? The Rib Shack. And then as you go across the railroad tracks, back down in that area where Love's Kitchen is in that area. So if you travel that area a lot, I want y'all to be extremely cautious with this. I've been told about this 4 to 5 times. Any way that they could get bumped. And of course, you know what becomes of that. But we did have a pedestrian struck yesterday. It was not anything serious. As we go here to pull this map up, this wasn't in that location. This would be over on Front Street and 8th Avenue there. 801 Front Street Extension is where this would be. down at the split where you'd go toward the hospitals or you go on toward downtown Meridian where the convenience store is there. As you pull this map to make that a little bit bigger there. So that's where that went on yesterday. Everybody's going to be okay in that instant. But always keep your eyes out. You never know who's going to walk out in front of you. Some people do try to do things like that on purpose. Also, as we go to more headlines, the Meridian Police Department put out a long list of people. Have you had a chance to go here and take a look at this? As you go to Sam Media, you can take a look at who the Meridian Police Department wants to speak to. We started out with 8 people, and within a few moments, I was asked to take down 2 because they had turned themselves in. To my knowledge, as of this morning, still looking for 6 people the Meridian Police Department would like to have a conversation with. Not guilty of anything. They just want to have a talk. You can find all of this at sammedia.network as you go down and take a look at all these that are wanted for questioning at the Meridian Police Department. You've seen any of these gentlemen? Let the police department know. They'd like to know where they are. And if you're watching, just go in and talk to the police. I'm sure it can be settled, right? That's the latest we've gotten from the Meridian Police Department. We did see this as we go to Twin States News, and I share this. I didn't have a chance to get down yesterday. I had a lot going on and was not able to make it, but the jet has arrived in Meridian as we get ready for the Veterans Memorial Park that's going to be out near Structural Steel, near the airport. As we pull this up to take a look, here it is. This is the jet that's arrived. It's going to be painted. It's going to be set up. Our friends at Twin States were able to get out and do this. A great thing for our area. They're going to do a lot here with the park. It's going to be right on the right-hand side as you go toward the Meridian Airport, on the right-hand side of the road, right before you get to Sonny Montgomery. We'll learn more about that, and I'll get some pictures this week as well while I'm out and about. We got a note from Cassie Coleman. This is pretty serious here as we find this as we go back to sammedia.network. Christopher Denson has pleaded guilty. The district attorney, Cassie Coleman, announced that he had pled guilty to the crimes of second-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. It happened on June 21st. That would have been yesterday is when that went down. He's sentenced by Circuit Judge Charles Wright to serve a term of 40 years without the possibility of parole. As a habitual offender, that's what happens on the second charge of second-degree murder. He gets 10 years on that charge in possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. They will serve consecutively. He was indicted in October 6th of 21 for ordering his uncle, Alden Turner. That's awful that happened. But we do appreciate Cassie getting that note to us, letting us know what is going on. Appreciate that a lot. As we start to look around, let's see what else we've got going on. Don't forget, we've got the Benefit Car Show this weekend for one of our own from my area that is having some hard times as we go here to take a look. David Shelton. Car show is going to be set up at Meridian Honda. It's going to be Saturday afternoon from 2 until 5. If you can make it out, registration starts there at 2. Cars will be about, door prizes. All the proceeds that are raised will go to help David and his family there during their time that they've got during these hard times, and it is with cancer. We go to, I don't know if you've heard this yet, but as we look around the state of Mississippi, we've got more things that are occurring. Clinton, Mississippi, an infant was found deceased in a hotel room. No charges have been filed yet. The Clinton Police Department is speaking with the mother. They're investigating this to see what happens. They're saying it possibly died as a result of smothering. I can't say the word correctly there. During a sleeping situation. We'll let you know more about that as we watch that. I'm going to practice that word too. Give me just a little while. Just hear this about the gator in Mississippi as we go down near Hattiesburg area. It was the welfare office. The alligator showed up at the front door, and they have been making memes about the alligator needing help all across the state of Mississippi. Showed up to getting some nutrition assistance there where they hand out the food there. It's funny. That gator didn't want to leave. That's near Hattiesburg, too. Not one of those common places that you see gators climb up to a door. This happened down in Brookhaven, not all that far from us as we go south on 55. Brookhaven, one of the big places to where they've got a Walmart distribution center The lady returned to her car, and guess what? Someone was sitting in it. He stole her car just about the time that she got there. They're looking for her. At least he didn't get her groceries. As times, criminals get worse and worse every day. Now, yesterday we talked about the new law that would go into effect in July, to where Mississippi would now offer 3 forms of capital punishment, to where right now we've got lethal injection. Lethal injection, they're adding firing squad and also the electric chair. What I did not know with this, as we dig deeper into this story, it will be up to the prison officials to decide on which sentence is handed down, which way they'll be executed. I thought it would be, honestly, I thought without digging into it, that it would be the choice of the inmate, but that's not the case. The prison will decide in which way it will happen. From my understanding of all of this, most will probably still use lethal injection, but they do have the option to use a firing squad or an electric chair. Well, watch this as Mississippi moves forward with this new law that just went into effect there. As things continue, Vicksburg, we've been talking about this for a few days now, as they try to curb the crime rate there with juveniles. They have put into place now, it's going to be starting June 24th for a period of 60 days, a curfew. Now, remember the fine to the parents at this time they put in place there at the mall that had started, if your teenager is caught there under the age of 18, is $627 fine for the parents. Now it's going to be citywide after 11 o'clock to 7 a.m. They're going to do this for a period of 60 days. The fine's high enough that you wouldn't want to have to pay that. Maybe it will deter, make parents know where their children are. We'll see how this turns out. Vicksburg taking a big step to try to curb all of this. And again, as we've talked about the Meridian area, Jimmy did say we did have one of these, but it has not, to my knowledge, been implemented. We'll follow that and see where that goes. Other news around the state as we start to look at this. Let's see what else we've got. We've talked about Vicksburg. We go to, and people are bad upset over this. You take law enforcement that do their job. They track down the bad guys. They bring them before a jury. They're sentenced. They're found guilty. And then the judge, well, they do something that citizens don't agree with. And here's the case of this. A Yazoo man has been released on bond after he was found guilty of raping his daughter. I kid you not. Again, that headline is Yazoo man released on bond after being found guilty of raping his daughter. Our friends at Dark Horse Press covered this story, and as the story reads, a man was arrested and found guilty of 6 counts of statutory rape, and he's been released on bond. Jimmy Allen began raping his daughter when she was only 11 years old. He was sentenced to serve 30 years in prison by a Yazoo Circuit Court jury. Reports say that Jimmy Allen was placed on suicide watch after his initial conviction. He was considered a danger to himself and the community. Due to this reasoning, the court requested that Allen not be able to be released on bond. However, the judge granted Allen a bond of $75,000 to be released from jail while awaiting his appeal. Today's decision granting Allen a bond after being convicted by a jury was very disturbing and shocking and disappointing to the victim and her family, read a statement from the office of the district attorney. Can you believe that? That's all true. You can find that on Dark Horse Press. Again, Yazoo found guilty of raping a daughter and then let out on bond. Your votes count. I kid you not. Make sure you vote. Our next election is coming up. If you agree with things that happen that you don't feel are right, do studying before you vote. I can't tell you, I'm guilty of this. You show up at a voting booth and you look down at the piece of paper and you have no idea who that person is. And you have to make a quick decision before you walk out. Who am I going to go with? And a lot of times it's just name recognition as you put a check by it, not to leave it blank. We've really got to do our studying before our next election and make a difference in the state of Mississippi and onward into the nation. Make sure to vote. Make sure you know who this is. The White House denying accusations that they want to cut 30% of ammunition to civilians of 5.56 ammo. They're saying it's not true. Other news is, if you're a smoker, be ready, because Biden and the gang at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue are planning to introduce rules limits on nicotine levels. That's coming. They're going after cigarettes next. That will be their platform. So if you're a smoker, that may not make you happy. Biden has asked Congress to pause federal gas tax for 3 months. Some say that this will make the economy spiral even worse. I'm not sure. I don't quite understand all that. I'll have to have that explained. I'm not sure, but we're in a mess on this. And this can be fixed. It's called drilling in our own country, and we all know that. Just 2 years ago, it was $1.69, and you could afford to go have a steak if you wanted to on the weekend, couldn't we? Now that steak money is being put into your tank. It's over $110 for me to fill up mine now. Over $110, depending upon just how empty it is. And there's a lot of you who have bigger tanks than that get into those 36-gallon tanks. Honestly, the joke of I had to get a loan is not really out of reach now, is it? Whew. Remember Dave Chappelle, who did the comedy skit? He's a comedian. He did a show on HBO, and a lot of the left threw a fit over it. They were going to name his high school auditorium after him. He donated money. And a lot of the kids from there raised so much cane as they were getting ready for the ceremony, he declined to have his name put on it. Said he was deeply hurt by it. He was just doing his job and his freedom of speech, and I agree with him. But he declined after all of that to have the school put his name on the auditorium. Well, who else is making news? It was popular. It seemed like everybody and their brother and sister watched it. The Johnny Depp trial, where he did win. As news comes out this morning that she's broke. What is she going to do? Amber owes him a lot of money, about $8 million in that defamation case. She's going to write a book, a tell-all book. Now, if you go and look at the likes that she's gotten on Instagram and all, hers are maybe 200,000 to where Johnny has 30, 40 million people. I'm not sure the book's going to sell all that well. That's a few of the headlines. We've got more coming up at 8 o'clock on all of this. Y'all don't rush off. We're going to check your forecast next. That's a quick snippet of what's going on in and around our area and around the nation this morning as you're waking up. But importantly, let's get into the forecast next here to let you know exactly what's going on this morning.
One of the most important places to you is your home. That's why Patrick Allen Companies is proud to provide style, functionality, and security to your home. There's nothing quite like a well-designed overhead garage door or vinyl replacement windows, or the safety of a storm shelter to help your family feel protected. Patrick Allen offers doors and windows for commercial and industrial with dozens of innovative designs. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville has these great savings this week. Fresh corn 3-pack, $1.79. Fresh Georgia peaches, $1.79 a pound. Vidalia onions, a 2-pound bag, $2.49. Fresh cucumbers, 2 for $1. Heinz tomato ketchup, 32-ounce, $3.99. And certified Angus beef T-bone steak, family pack, $9.99 a pound.
We're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Let's switch over to Meridian Honda radar and let you look at this. All of this orange, whatever you want to call this color, is hot weather and is deep in the state of Mississippi. Most of the state, very few counties not under this heat advisory. As we look at this, Meridian says here this is going to stretch over to York, Alabama, all the way to Montgomery and back west to Longview, Texas. Look at that. North and south, it's just hot weather in store for us. As we back out and look at a quick look at the nation, the south is absolutely clear this morning as we've got just a tad bit of fog just to the west of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Up the east coast, there's showers off there, just east of Philadelphia out there in the ocean there. Topeka. Loretta wrote a song about that one time. I don't know if y'all remember that, but showers in Topeka, Kansas this morning and around Wichita, light showers. As we go up to the most part, we get out to the northeast, Seattle. We've got a lot of fog this morning as we come back through California. Some showers there in Bakersfield. Albuquerque getting showers this morning. As we look at the great state of Texas, well, it just says it's hot. A quick look across the nation there as we look at this. All right, let's get into the forecast this morning.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Our record highs, record lows, 1944, 103 degrees. We're going to get really close to that today as we're forecasted for 101. As we look for the coolest day, it was 76. It was 54 on this day back in 1976. As we look at sunshine for today, there is a 10% chance, and that's a smidgen is what we'll call that. Meridian looks to be 101, 99 in Philadelphia. And we go south, Hattiesburg, 99. Cooler in Natchez, if you can call that cool, 96 today. Let's go across the Bama state line. Tuscaloosa, Bear Bryant country, 100 today. As we look over to Clanton, 97, Birmingham, 99, and even down to Demopolis, 99 degrees. It's just going to be hot. As we look at this is what we've got all the way through Sunday. Hot and more hot. The hours of 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day is where you don't need to be. Heat index should be somewhere between 105 to 110. We're projecting 106, although I'm not sure that it's not going to be warmer than that. I'm going to bump that higher than what they're calling for. Officially 106, what they say today. I'd stick closer to that 110. I think it'll jump up there. Now, next week, as you'll look at this, out behind this heat wave, we've got this little bit of cooler weather. What does that mean? We're going to have a period of about 3 to 4 days. We'll see temperatures maybe 93, 94. Telling you, that's a cool spell compared to what we've got right behind that as we go back and pull this up. As you see, more hot air after that passes through. But it will be a period next week. Look at this week. 100 all the way through Sunday, if not over. 102 on Saturday. Hot, hot, and hot. Now, as you'll look at this, the National Weather Service, as I mentioned a while ago, saying 10% chance of rain. My radar system tells us we've got a 20% chance of an afternoon shower. As we get toward the weekend, it will increase, and by Monday, we'll have a 30% chance. Now, as we mentioned, cooler weather coming, that little cold front that we saw, right there is where we'll start seeing a little bit of difference. Next Wednesday, we'll drop to the low 90s. Boy, that's a cool spell, isn't it? And by Sunday and Saturday, things will start to heat up again and rise back once again. Whew, we're dead in the middle of summer, aren't we? As we look at this, there's nothing in the tropics to talk about. As we look at the Gulf of Mexico, all clear for the next 5 days. I'm not so sure that that's going to last long. There's some things that are building out there. We're going to watch that, but no concern just yet. For the next 5 days, we're all clear. Let's talk about fishing today as we go to Chet's Paint and Body. Now, what do we got today? Your first major time to fish will be from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Early morning fish there. Right before the temps get too hot, you can go back out right at dark. It should be getting good after 8 p.m. there. Get your line in the water there. The wind's going to be light and variable, becoming northwest 5 to 10 miles an hour this morning if you're getting ready to go to the old fishing hole there. That's a quick look at our headlines this morning and what's going on. Repacker, good morning from Metro Detroit. Be careful up there. I'm not sure I could drive in Detroit anymore. Those folks are serious about what they've got going on. I might have to take a cab to get to where I want it. Never, ever like large cities, and I don't know where I'm going before daylight. Y'all know what I'm talking about? GPS's help. They do. Good morning to you. We hope you've enjoyed the show this morning. As always, we appreciate that. Now, we're coming back live here in an hour and 2 minutes. Tomorrow, we're going to have a special guest as we'll get a little political. We'll run all that past you and tell you what's going to be happening. Michael Cassidy will be joining us he's going to be running for Congress. We'll learn his platform, the do's and don'ts. And if you've got a question we want you to ask him, you'll be able to do it right here while we're live on television tomorrow. Live right here on Facebook and YouTube as well. If you've got a question you'd like to know, there's a lot of accusations out there. It's his time to tell us what's true and what's not true. It's all coming up tomorrow. I hope you'll join us beginning at 8 a.m. Should be an interesting show. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back in about 1 hour from now and go live as Candace will be coming in. Thank y'all for dropping by. We'll see you soon from all of us here, Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: